Hello. I've had a lot of comments on my videos asking about how I found wheelchair accessible apartments in the two cities that I've lived in. So I thought that I would go over that process and how, like, moving to a bigger city where you know absolutely nobody and how to make that transition easier and how to find people and apartments and all of that. So, first off, I always start by Googling. I'll Google the city that I want to go to or the city that I'm living in. And after that, I Google low income buildings for people with disabilities. Luckily for me, in the two cities that I have lived in, they have had low income buildings where they set aside a certain percentage of apartments that are wheelchair accessible that have been built with that in mind. So having lower counters, lower sockets or power outlets, and things like your closet, all of that kind of stuff. And so I know a lot of the smaller cities aren't going to have those things, but just do your research and keep doing your research every single day because new projects and new buildings get approved and go into production every single day. And I know that in the city that I'm living in, there's more and more popping up everywhere. So basically, yes. So I'll Google. I'll look at pictures. I'll reach out to friends and family and see if they know anybody. Luckily for me, being in a wheelchair, you should have a designated spinal cord injury coordinator. And so I reached out to my coordinator locally as well as in a different city. And she was able to provide me with a bunch of other available apartment buildings that were wheelchair accessible and that were looking for people to move in. So that was a huge, huge resource. And so reach out to a spinal cord injury coordinator, whether it's yours or another one in a different city, or I think they can communicate with each other. And they usually have all the resources. So for me, what I did is moving to the bigger city where I knew nobody, had zero resources and all of that. I asked my spinal cord injury coordinator to give me a list of what she thinks I need to be prepared for. And then I also made my own list and then I compiled it. I'm going to cover the city name. Oh, you can't see it with the sun anyways. I'm going to read you out my list of the things that I think that you need to be prepared for and have ready right away. Or not right away, but like be prepared for as you're moving. So my very first one was the housing. So what are the options? Who have I talked to? What are their names, resources? Send an email. Even if it says they're at capacity, see if you can get on a wait list and ask them how long that wait list is going to be. And it doesn't hurt because even if they have a available unit, they'll call you. And if you had already found a different unit or whatever, you can either stay on the wait list or just ask, okay, I found something, whatever. It doesn't hurt. Reach out to as many as you can, more the merrier. Then you have options. Then if you're on AISH, like I am, I had to make sure that that was transferable and get my representative in the new city and get that set up. The next one was all your home care supplies. Make sure that there is a close by home care representative. And luckily, for me, going from my smaller city to the bigger one, they actually deliver. So they'll deliver right to your door. So I get all of my supplies right to my door. So that's pretty amazing. Another thing, which I think is on the list later on too, is for your pharmacy. If you don't know this now, pharmacies, mainly everywhere, deliver your prescriptions for free. I didn't know that for years of living in the city. Okay, the next one, a doctor. Make sure that you get set up with a doctor before you move. That's like critical. And do your research, go on Google, see the reviews, see what other people think, talk to other people that live in that city, see if there's people accepting new patients. Yeah. Okay. And then home care staff. This was asked on one of my videos earlier. What I do is in the bigger cities, they use Indeed more. I used to use Kijiji, but Indeed, holy man, you get like 10 times the audience. So what I did is I held interviews via Zoom back home before I moved here. And I interviewed like 20 to 30 people. I picked my favorite ones. I called them back, asked them if they would like to start when I moved. I had a whole schedule for the first month already set up with these people that I had met over Zoom so that I knew that I would be good when I moved there. And then I had backups as well because when I did end up moving to the big city alone, where I know nobody, there were a few of the home care people that I had set up that didn't end up showing up or said that they didn't work for them anymore. So that was such a scramble. So always have backup people. It's so crucial, especially if you don't have supports or family or friends that could come in a bind. So that was a big learning curve for me. So yeah, now I have home care come in the morning and at night. And again, I'm going to reiterate, research your city and which platform they use to hire people, home care people, depending on whether you're on self-managed care or whatever. Because that makes a huge difference. I'm sure that maybe using Indeed back home would have gave me more people, and yeah, I can save a headache. The next one, schooling. So if you're in school, just make sure that your courses and or your school's transferable, or you can do it online. That was a big thing for me. And work. Make sure that you have work opportunities or talk to your employer about getting a transfer, because a lot of the times, depending on where you work, they have other buildings, other facilities in a new city where you're going to go. The next one, pharmacy transfer. Like I said, just try to find a pharmacy closest to where you're going to go live. And yeah, they deliver. Keep that in mind. And then mail change. I wrote down all of the things that I was going to have to change, like my license, age, banking, everything. Just write a list. I don't know about you guys, but I love the satisfaction of being able to like take off a check mark or like take off a task. So, and then you can see how close you are to being done all your stuff and if you need to do some more. Bills, same thing. Make sure that you change your address in that, as well as canceling any bills and getting that all set up. Oh, another one is getting your house set up, making sure that it has the right stuff for you before moving in or as you move in and you have supports. So for me, I needed a lift to get me in and out of bed. I usually had it built into the wall or into the ceiling, but that's another story. So when I first got the apartment, got whatever, I was still back home. I called Eco Medical and I said, I'm going to be moving in this date. I need you guys to come at this time so that we can set up the lift into the ceiling so that I can get in and out of bed myself. And so make sure that you have all of that set up so you're not in a pickle. I don't really know what that says, so we'll just go to the next one. This is more bills like electricity. Oh, U-Haul. So for me, and depending on your disability, depending on what limitations you have, moving is not the best thing and the easiest thing. So for me, even though it was an additional extra high cost, we went with movers where they come in, move all of your stuff for you. You just have to pack it all up. And whoops, pressing a button. Nope. They come in. Oh yeah. Okay. So you just have to put everything into boxes. They come in, grab your stuff, put it in a U-Haul, drive it to your new place, unpack it all into your place, and then you just put it away. So even though it's more expensive, I really highly recommend that. That took a lot of stress off, especially if where you're moving to, you don't know anybody and you can't really have any help. Okay, we're getting to the end of the list. Housing update. Oh, I think that was just make sure that you're up to date and everything. The next pages are all those individual points on their own page. So for this one, I wrote down all of my Google searches of all the places that I could go and that were wheelchair accessible, that were accepting people, where I sent my application and all of that. And I did different cities as well. So I figured whichever city got back to me, that's where I'm going to go. Then the next one I have is all the jobs that I can transfer to, all the ones that were hiring people. So I had all that out. Then when the housing company called me, I wrote down the prices, the electricity, the everything, and made sure that it was a good financial choice for me and that I would be able to be good with that. The next one is pages and pages of the home care people. I have their numbers, what they can work, and then I would put a check mark if I was like, yes, I want to talk to this person again. And it's really cool to look back on and like see how far I've come and like to see which home care people are still working with me, which are not. And yeah, that's the end of my list. If you have any more things that you think that people should be aware of or be prepared in moving, then just add it to the comments. Basically the majority Google, word of mouth, spinal cord injury coordinator. I think that's such a big one. They can provide you with resources that were on my list and additional resources like the housing, the where pharmacies are, physios, whatever you need. They can check off so much of your list for and with you, taking a lot of stress off of you. And then your friends, family, everything. That's basically all I did. Is I just lucked out that where I was moving to, they had built a brand new low income building with a certain percentage of them being wheelchair accessible apartments. And I kind of just took a leap of faith. I didn't see the apartment before I came. And yeah, I don't recommend doing that. I did a little bit of Zoom at the person and you could see pictures on the internet, but whatever your life, whatever you want to do, it worked out for me. If you have any more questions, put them in the comments, and I hope that helped a little bit. Thanks for watching.